Alright, we got some roof molding on an 8th generation Civic that needs to be replaced. Come along, I'll show you how I do it. Alright, this molding right here, the roof / drip molding, that's what I'm going to be replacing today. I'm going to be replacing it on both sides. I'll just film one side, but they're both the same. It's just going to be a mirror image. Alright, so as you can see, our trim is tucked under the cowl here, or a portion of the cowl. So we need to get that off. In order to get that off, we got to get the wiper arms off. So that's the first thing we'll do. We'll get these wiper arms off so we can get this out of the way. Alright, to get the wiper arm off, we got a cover right here, and then there's a 17mm nut underneath there. So usually we can just kind of pop from this side. You can usually pop it up, don't even need any tools in many cases. I suppose you could use a small little screwdriver if you wanted to, but just be careful not to leave tool marks. And there's our nut right there, and we just got to pop that off. Alright, now just take a 17mm socket with a ratchet or whatever. I'm just using the impact to make it fast. Then we should be able to lift this up and kind of maneuver a little bit and lift it straight off. Alright, now we'll pull the center piece off, and in order to do that, we'll just take this rubber off. We'll just set it there. We got to get that clip, and then that one, and then there's two more on the other side, and you can see I already pulled those. So we just got to get these. Now on this one, you can see, looking at a mirror, there's just a couple of tabs in there. I usually just squeeze them with needle nose pliers while pulling up on the top, and they pop out. Same goes for this one right there. And then this one, you just pry from the top and pray you don't break it. Hey, we didn't break it. Try as you might, they break sometimes. And you can see the larger one, they come out pretty good. The smaller ones are kind of a pain. That's why I try to pinch them from the bottom. And even doing that, this one didn't make it. So I saved 2 out of 3. Now, the rest of it's just clipped in usually. Sometimes there are bolts here, but I don't believe this one is. We should be able to just pop them out of their clips, and it just depends on how many times this thing's been pulled off as to how many clips are on here. And there we go. We can just set it right here up out of our way. Alright, now we'll proceed to break these 3 clips so that we can get this piece off, because it covers this, and this is kind of a bear to get out. You might break this trying to maneuver it around this. But yeah, we'll probably break these. This one I believe is a replacement that I put in. And so I know I'm going to break that one probably, and then we'll have 50-50 chance on the other 2. Yeah, that one broke. Yeah, that one, part of it broke. Same thing on that, part of it broke. We're going to probably have to replace all these. Now on this side, we have to deal with the windshield wiper reservoir if we want to take this piece all the way off. The other side, we don't have to deal with it. But we can just pop it out of its housing usually. Come on. See, it just pops out. We can just let it sit right there. Then we can get this thing completely out of our way. Now as you can see, we have a wiper fluid line running through here. So we need to be careful of that. Now if you're not replacing this, which I am replacing this to fix this because it's kind of beat up. But this rubber just kind of hooks under here. You can see right there. We just got to peel it up away. And now we're clear of that. So if you were just replacing this and not this, we don't need to go any further. But I got to get this line off so I can get this piece out. And you can see that it just clips right there and clips over here. So once we disconnect it like that, we're free. Then we can get it up and out. So there, that's how you take it off if you ever need to remove this. Alright, typically when this is in place like that, it's clipped in, where are you at? It's clipped in with this clip right here in this slot, but as you can see, this thing's damaged and it wasn't doing anything. Now you can try to, you know, pull this molding out without removing the cowl and stuff, but you may do some damage. Of course, removing all these old plastic parts, you know, after the vehicle's, you know, age 10 or 15 years, you may do some damage anyway. Now when I pull this off, we got to be careful, try to not break as many clips as we can. Now I do have new clips that hold this in, but I'm gonna have to improvise for the cowl. Let's see, let me get you a shot, turn around here. So you can see we got this brown one right here, which is already broken. You see, it was, looks like it was set into the windshield epoxy. And then we got this one here. Now what we can do, we just take a flathead little screwdriver, we can push right there and push right there, and we can actually release the tabs and bring it up. If you still have the black plastic piece in the way, then it's a little more difficult. You kind of just have to gently pry up, and hopefully you don't break all these. But we got 1, 2, 3, and 4. We got to do that too, and then this front piece right on the glass will come off. So hopefully I can get a shot holding the camera and doing this. Usually I would be doing it 2 hands. But all we gotta do is press right in there, and then these generally release. I don't know if I can do it one-handed. Or these may be epoxied in too, and we gotta rip them out. But typically that's all we do. Well, it looks like this one bit the dust. Luckily we have more. But that's all we gotta do is just press in there, like this, and release these tabs like that. See, that's how it should come out. I'll just do this tab right here. This side is definitely not playing nice. These might be aftermarket clips, which usually are a little more difficult to get out. But you can see, that's all we're doing. We're just pressing this tab right here, and that releases through this piece right here. But thankfully, I got new ones of all these, so we're okay. I'm okay if I break a few, but if I don't have to break them, I try not to. Now up here, once we get to the top on the roof line, there's 3 clips, like one here, one here, and one here, roughly. And they have prongs that kind of stick that way. So this trim slides onto it this way. And then all the way at the end here, there's a little pin that sticks up. And so the end of the trim, it's like a key slot. It just sits in there and then pulls up like that, and that's what locks the rear in. So once we pull these out, all we have to do is slide it back to a little bit, and then it'll release off that pin. So usually what we can do is curl this up, curl it up like that, and slide it that way. Now if they've been in here for any length of time, they're kind of difficult and they don't like to play nice, especially if the windshield guy used some glue on them, which sometimes they do, and they might have. But you can see, I don't know, can you see that? That's what it looks like, and they're just fingers going out like that holding it. So we just pull it up like that, push it into the middle of the car. And like I said, sometimes they're easier, sometimes they're harder. And a lot of times when they replace windshields, and this is part of the trim, they like to glue everything. Because typically these just slide on. But also, when they're on there for any length of time, they stay also. And then, so now they're all released, so all I got to do is push it this way. And pull it off. And you can see, well, maybe you can't, but it's just right down in there. It just locks in. So actually we're just pulling it, we got to pull it towards us to get it off. I think I said the other way around, but definitely go to the front of the car to get it off. So you can see that a little piece of trim just disintegrated, and it's hard to tell. They may have used some stuff there, and that's why these were all sticking. You can tell this usually would not be sticky like this. So that's probably why it gave me a little more effort on this side to get off. But these look like they're intact, as long as these feet are all good. There's just a little pin down there, and actually the pin looks just like this one. This is where the trim slides into the back so it locks it in. There's a pin just like that right down in there. So if you need to replace these, you just stick it on there and then just slide it over a little bit and it locks in place with the tab. So they're fairly easy to replace if you do break them. So if you look at it, here's one, but it broke. You can see there's a little barb right there. And so if we set it into place right there, you can see that those tabs just lock in right there. So all you have to do is press in, and they're stepped. There's actually a couple little pieces there so you can lock in a couple different places. But generally you just press in right there and these will just release. If not, you got to rip them out. But like this one, you can see that windshield is right up against it. That would be very difficult to replace if we had to, so luckily we didn't break that one. This is embedded in the epoxy, so we got to kind of pry that out so our new one will kind of sit in place. This one looks okay. This one we broke, and you can see the same pin right there. So we can just pull that one. Should be able to just move it out of the way like that, and we'll just replace that one. And this one looks like it's intact as long as we can get this piece out. And you can see it popped out no problem. I just pressed it in and it popped right out. But obviously this will have to be replaced. And generally I put all new on the trim side. The pieces that actually slide in here, like this one right here, I usually replace. But these right here, if I can leave them, I generally do, because usually they're just fine. So this one's good. We'll have to replace that. These are good, and then this one we'll have to replace. And the rest of this just popped right out. Typically, the little foot right there, you can see that. Typically, that's supposed to clip under the glass, but it's probably not going to work as intended on this one. But as long as these lock in, we'll be okay. Alright, now I'm going to take my shop vac. I'm going to shop vac all the crap up. Clean it all up. I'll try to salvage as many of these little clips as I can, and then we'll be ready to put everything back together. Alright, as you can see, got everything cleaned up. Now we just got to get this clip. Alright, there's our clip. That's what it looks like, and there's a bag of them right there. There's your part number for it. And this part should work for these 4 clips right here on both sides. Doesn't matter which side. Alright, to install it, we want these feet down. We want this little notch towards the inside, and then we're going to slide it on. The notch goes right in there, and then we're going to slide it over. So all we got to do is kind of set it down into place if it'll fit. They really put the windshield over quite a bit on this one. Alright, as you can see, I got it in. I just had to press it down with 2 hands. They didn't leave me much room between the glass here and their adhesive in the side. But there was just enough. You can see that you just press it in and then slide it over. Once you slide it over, there's a little plastic tab there that locks it in place. So that way it won't move and get out of there. So now we're good. Alright, and if you happen to need any of these 3, this is what they look like, and they do the same thing. you can see that it's notched right there, so you just slide it over, snap it into place. There's the part number for these guys. Now it's just the luck of the draw how these clips come out. Now you can see this is the driver's side. You can see all the clips are still intact on the molding. Didn't break any of them. They just all popped right out. Passenger side was a little different. You can see we broke the brown one, and so we got a new one. So there's the part number right there. Is that at all legible? There. So that's the part number for that. For these yellow ones, the 3 of them, we got, let's see, that's what they look like. And there's the part number. Hopefully you can read that. So there's the actual, that one looks exactly like that. These slightly different color, probably a different manufacturer or something, but you can see it's the same number. So they're the same. And then for the blue one that we broke, that's going to be the part number for that. Now we're going to take new clips, and I'm going to use all new. I typically don't, like I said, I don't reuse the ones that were in there, although you can. You just got to snap them out. But I'm going to use all new, and we got to get the spacing pretty close to where they were. So this is here, and then there was another yellow one here, then yellow, and then blue. And so we got to get our spacing the same right there. And obviously we got to make sure we install them the correct way like that. Now once we get over to the car, we can adjust them just a little bit left and right, but we don't want to be moving them like 6 or 8 inches. That's no fun. Alright, now we're just going to take our little clips like that, and you can see they slide in just like that. So on our new one, we got to make sure we're on the right end. You can see we're on the end with the rubber like that. It does not have the little notch, so we know we're not putting it in completely backwards. And it just slides in like that, and then that little clip right there will just kind of pop down into place. And like I said, we want to get it in the same position, so we want this one to be about right there. And all you got to do is just kind of press it in, and it'll snap into place. I'm just going to do that with the rest of them. Alright, there we go. They're all installed. Just eyeballing them, you know, that's pretty close to where they were. And now, once we get on the car, we can fine-tune them exactly where they need to be placed. Alright, as you can see, I got it set up into place. Now what we're going to do, this is the first thing we're going to set in place. We're going to make sure our little notch right there slides home, and then these right here, we're just going to slide it right in. So we'll just drop it down and slide it on. And they'll just slide right into place, much easier than when we took it off. And then hopefully we got these lined up in the right spot, and if they do, they'll just snap into place. If not, we can maneuver them left and right just a little bit if we need to. And you can pick up on the back, or try to, and you'll feel that it's locked in. And these, you can see, if you did them right, they'll slide right on into place and lock in. So there, that's good. Now we just got to get these fine-tuned. Alright, hopefully you can see I got them all lined up. Blue one's kind of hard to see, but it's lined up. Now, before you tack this home, always make sure this end right here should be even with the body line. And if it is, then you know you're good to go. Now that they're all lined up, we can just press them down into place. Just gently, you'll hear them click in. And this one is a hair off. And you'll hear them ratchet down like that, and then you know it's good. Alright, now I got a brand new piece. I'm just going to snake it up under there and then get it into place. This is going to have to go up under there and under here, and then this rubber piece kind of snaps under the body right there. And so we just got to kind of get it in place, and then, but I won't kind of snap it down because we got to get our line back in there. And there's a little rubber piece right there. Might have to use a trim tool like this just to kind of stuff it and get it to lock up under there. But as long as you're, where is it? Come on. Can you see it? As long as that clip right there is lined up. And then right here, our two holes are lined up. Now we know we're good. Now we can kind of snap that clip in place. It usually helps to pop the service cap out right here so you can reach in there and snap these two together. Otherwise, sometimes they don't like to play nice. Whenever you're doing work like this, definitely helps to have an assortment of clips and stuff. Usually you're going to break stuff, and this is where I just go to my bin of goodies there and fix it. Okay, off camera I went ahead and put both of the trim pieces back on each side. Figured it's kind of boring, you don't need to see me just place it in there. I did clean up the end here and put a little bit of silicone on there, so when I put it back in, it's going to seal up nicely. As you can see, I got the neck installed again. Everything's lined up so we can either salvage some more clips or get some new ones from our bag of goodies. Same thing with the other side. I did find a clip all ready to go right here, so at least that part is secure. Now we just got to get the sides. Alright, I was able to reuse two clips, that one and that one right there. All the rest of them, brand new. So now it's good as new. And we don't want to forget our rubber seal here. Okay, and as far as placement where these arms go at rest, which is where we took them off, Honda recommends that this blade on the driver's side be about 96 millimeters from the edge of the cowl to where it is right there, so we're right on. And then for the passenger side, from the edge of the cowl out, they want 23 millimeters. And you can see the edge of my tape right there is about 23 millimeters. So as long as we get it right in that area, we're good. We definitely want to make sure it's down on the splines. I like to rock it a little bit and make sure it goes down. You can see we're right there. Let's tack it home. You can see that blade, we're right on the edge of the tape. So we're definitely right within spec, right where we should be. Now we just got to put the cover on. Now we just snap this into place. We're good. I already got the other side. We'll just get our tape. We're golden. And of course, when you're putting this stuff back together, you want to make sure all the rubber seals line up. That's supposed to tuck under the body in there, and there's a rubber seal there. This gets tucked under there. You can see that the rubber seal is laying nicely against the glass. That's how we want it. We want to make sure the seam is nice and snapped together properly. That way the finished look looks good. Well, there you go. There's the finished product. I think it looks pretty darn good. Definitely makes this car look a lot nicer, a lot newer. Of course it needs to be clean now, but at least that trim looks good. Well, there you go. That's how I replace the roof molding on these 8th generation Civics. I do it the way Honda teaches you how to do it. You can try sneaking it around that corner cowl molding, but I don't know, you may break some things, may do more damage than good. In any event, hey, if the video helped you out, you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.